Welcome to the Keeper's Retreat. I'm Jason, and I keep for Memester of the Week, another Monster of the Week podcast. And we have a bunch of really wonderful and cool people here. So let's start. Introduce yourself, what show you're on, and what character you're going to be playing today. Let's start with Mr. Ray.
Hi, I'm Mr. Ray, he, him, and I will be playing Severus Savarti, who is also he, him. And Severus, comes from my show, $2 Creature Feature. Severus is the enigmatic carnival owner who has some secrets in his past. And just for, those of you who are watching out there who are worried about the timeline, this is going to take place after all of our events. You might see a different Savarti than what you're used to. Not by much. Severus is a tall man who wears a tailored three-piece suit, and he has a pencil-thin mustache and goatee. If you were going to cast him in a movie, it would be Vincent Price.
Very cool, very cool. Thank you. Let's go with Rackham.
Hey, I'm Rackham, aka Sean. I GM for and edit for some of the campaigns of Dungeons & Pop, a tabletop variety show. I'm playing Troy Manchester, but not the one from the Enter the Allyverse one-shots, but the NPC introduced in the Time to Face the Music fictional heroism arc. He's a former college student turned eldritch horror hero with tentacle hairs and an affinity for bleeding ink. Despite the horror of the events that made him this way, he still struggles to be a really nice guy and help out the associates of the library, which are the keepers of the chaos of the fictional world bleeding into the real world. They're the ones who keep it at bay.
Very cool, very cool. Thank you, Rackham. And Sero, can you pop off for us?
Wow. Okay. My name is Sero, or Sero, she, her, I guess. I'm the keeper from Redgate and Wolf. We're an actual Play Monster of the Week podcast, like most of everyone here. I will be playing Meadow. She's the owner-operator of the Watchtower Tavern in a bar and inn located in the fictional town of Hendrix. She looks to be about in her 30s, early 30s, long blonde hair, often adorned with flowers, wears flowy dresses, likes to go around barefoot, just think quirky, ethereal, stoner, hippie chick. She's weird as fuck, basically.
Very cool, thank you. And last, we have Ian.
I'm Ian. My pronouns are he, him. I'm playing Cebe Tate, who is a former member of the FAE, the Foreign Anomaly Enforcement, that is not so secretly run by Fae royalty. But he has left his life as an agent to pursue the devil that wronged him, that plucked him from his life as a farmer in the Tate's Hell area. And he's looking to destroy the devil of Tate's Hell. I guess I should describe what he looks like. He looks like a very old 40-year-old. He's weathered. He looks tired. He has a handlebar mustache. And he wears kind of nondescript, darkish, like earth tone clothing. And a red baseball cap.
Very cool. Thank you so much for joining us here, guys. I think this is going to be really cool and a lot of fun. With that, let's get into it. Let's get into the hook. We overlook a dark stretch of highway along the California coast. In the distance, we see a pair of headlights. There's a young couple laughing and listening to loud music as they drive. Overhead, we see 3 blue streaks of light fly through the night air. Babe, did you see that? It looked like... And the passenger is cut off as the car is struck by a large form. The car skids out of their lane and comes to a halt. What the hell was that? We see the driver stepping out of the car as the creature with bright red eyes retreats back into the woods, away from the road. The camera pans out and settles, watching the beachfront as it turns from the dead of night into a bright and sunny midday. And we are on the beach in Monterey Bay, California. So, who is around?
Meadow should be like dancing barefoot on the sand of the beach, just spaced out.
I think that Cebe is in a shady spot, maybe under an umbrella, reading a book.
Very nice. What brings Meadow and Cebe here to California?
I think Meadow's brother has paid for her to go on a trip to get away from it all for a while.
I think Troy is kind of walking over to the shaded spot, and I actually sort of have an idea, Ian, of what what history might be, and I'm going to play it up.
Okay.
Because I think that Troy has ran into Cebe, and they kind of hit it off bad at first. They fight, and then they get along, and I think, like, Troy, I feel like he got like an invitation to this, and then he's kind of weirded out by the fact he got an invitation. And he may have contacted Cebe if they heard anything about the area. Maybe that works for you.
Sure. Yeah.
And he's in shorts, tank top, and he has a ridiculous, like, you know those hats, like it's like a director's hat where it's like backwards. It's like almost like a cabbie hat, but it's backwards.
Mm-hmm.
He has that with his quote unquote tentacle hair kind of combed back to try to at least have some semblance of normality.
Very cool, very cool. Severus, where are you? What's going on with you?
I think Severus is probably like walking down the beach. He's barefoot and he's got his dress pants rolled up to his knees. But I think maybe since considering where we're at, he'd be dressed in dress pants still, but kind of a vacation shirt. And he's got like one of those like straw vacationer hats, if you know what I'm talking about, that have like the floral print band on the top.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he's like walking across the beach because likely I think he too got an invitation to come out this way. And he figures it's time. He deserves a little bit of a vacation from the carnival and all of that. And I think he's just relaxing.
Very cool, very cool. Yeah, so I think that it is a nice sunny afternoon in California. It's hot, but it's that nice dry heat, so it's not just completely destroying you. And you're relaxing on the beach, and you start to hear a little bit of a commotion down the beach. Some women are screaming, and I think you hear someone say "pervert."
Yeah, I think Severus will hear that, and I think he'd rush to get down there.
Cebe might perk up and watch at first to kind of see what he can see.
Oh, a voyeur.
Just not necessarily the rush in type.
Yeah, I think with Severus, you run over to this group of people, and they've been by a bunch of like those beach tents, relaxing and hanging out, and they're yelling at this small child-sized person, but they're really strange looking. They have blue skin and a turtle shell on them, and it looks like they have a lot of water on their head.
Ooh.
Yeah, why don't you roll investigate a mystery for me?
Yeah, sure thing. I was gonna say I know what this is, but don't know if Severus would.
Troy would probably look around at the call pervert, probably realize it's not someone calling him that, and he rubs his brow, and then he probably start to fall after, probably a bit behind Severus.
Yeah, let's. I got an 11 on this.
Wonderful, wonderful. So what are your questions?
I think I'm gonna go with what sort of creature is it?
Yeah, I think that Severus is a very well-read man. He's been around for a long time.
Yeah.
And so he would have read up on some Eastern mythology and things like that, and would probably recognize that a turtle child with a divot in their head that holds water, this is a kappa.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I was thinking it was. I think the next thing I'll ask is what happened here.
What happened here? I think looking around, you can kind of see. You look down and you see the kappa's webbed feet, and extrapolating from that, you look around and you see this pathway of like these little footprints in the sand. And you notice that it goes behind the tent, and you think that the kappa may have been peeping on some of the women as they were changing, and maybe even going up and trying to steal their bathing suits.
Oh. Okay, so it's just the Kappa right here, or are the other women around as well?
There are other women around, and they think they are yelling at this creature like it's a misbehaving child.
Okay. I think I'm going to go ahead and use one of my moves. I forgot to say I am playing the Spooktacular class. And one of my moves is Easygoing. And it says, I have the gift of being friendly and easy to chat to. When you try to make a good impression on someone you just met, roll plus charm. On a 10 plus, they will treat you as trustworthy and a friendly acquaintance. On a 7 to 9, they will open up more than usual, but still regard you as a stranger. On a 6 or less, they'll think you're playing with them, and they're not to trust you or your companions.
Wonderful.
I'm going to go ahead and roll this. And I got a 7. That was close.
They regard you still as a stranger, but they're going to be a little more amicable towards you. So what do you want to say to these people?
Yes, pardon me. I heard a commotion. What seems to be the problem here?
Oh, well, this pervert was coming over and trying to steal our bathing suits.
This child, he says, towards the obviously not human child, but I think he'll squat down in front of it, and he's like, well, what do you have to say for yourself?
And the Kappa just kind of like looks you in the eyes because it's very confused and kind of alarmed, but it's still very polite and just goes, oh.
Would you care to say that a little louder? Maybe a little in my ear. Oh, I see the problem. I want to use magic.
Yes, please.
Okay. That's another 7.
Okay, so you get an effect and a glitch.
The effect is I want to communicate with something that I don't share a language with.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to say that it draws immediate and unwelcome attention.
Okay.
And I don't know what you have in mind, but usually whenever Severus does any sort of magic, his eyes kind of glow green.
Okay.
I don't know if that's enough of a glitch for you, but it's very obvious that he's doing something spooky. And but yeah, he looks to this Kappa and he says, "All right, let's try this again. Were you trying to steal these women's swimwear?"
Yes. That was what I was doing. Where are we? This isn't my home.
No, it seems you are very far from home, my little friend. We are in the great state of California.
What a state.
I struggle with the concept myself. But it'd be best if you didn't try to steal people's undergarments, or outer garments as it were. It's very rude.
Oh, okay. Here you go. And the Kappa just holds up the top of a swimsuit.
I think Severus will take it, and he'll go to one of the women and he says, "I'm terribly sorry about that. It seems to be some sort of miscommunication on his part. If you would like, I will get him out of here and get him completely out of your hair."
Yeah. Please go ahead and go. And it's too hot for Halloween costumes. Maybe you should go take him to get changed.
Oh, yes. Probably. I'll see if I could find his parents. And with that, I think Severus will reach out to take the Kappa's hand and try to lead him out of the area.
Yeah. I think the Kappa will go with you for now.
Can Meadow sidle on up and take the Kappa's other hand and look over to Severus and go, "I like your eyes."
Severus will pull out some of really square black rimmed glasses, like sunglasses, and put them on. He's like, "Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Are you a myriad?
Me?
Yeah.
No, I don't think so.
Well, of course not. That would be silly. Such a silly word, myriad.
Are you?
Oh, yes. Yeah, that's definitely one word that I've accepted as to what I am.
I don't like labels.
But labels help us put a name to things that we can't otherwise express.
Oh, so the label you just asked me? What was it you were trying to label me?
Well, I suppose by your not fear of our little friend here, you know about the monsters of the world, yes?
You mean evil?
No, quite the opposite. Beings that exist in our world that are, say, a werewolf or a vampire, aren't necessarily evil. They are different. They are creatures, just as much as humans, only humans are the ones who have taken the majority share. And even though they control the majority, they aren't the only creatures here. So these monsters, as humans call them, are myriads. Ones who are in control of their facilities and just want the same thing that everyone else wants. They want respect and friendship and love and hopes and dreams and securities. They want friendship. They want companionship. They need to know that their thoughts are just as valid as anyone else.
That's really pretty. Are you like a poet or something?
No, I'm in show business. My father was the poet.
Oh, that's nice. So where are we taking the kappa?
I haven't the slightest idea.
I think Cebe would appear behind Troy, like nobody even saw him get up from his spot, but he noticed that magic was being worked and suddenly became interested. So he comes up behind Troy, who I imagine is sort of close by them at this point, and he leans in and says, I don't know what that creature is, but I think something out of the ordinary is going on here.
The Kappa just like on the ground there.
We should follow those three.
Troy kind of looks shocked for a moment, and he goes, "Yeah, I've met that. Yeah, probably a good idea."
And he just kind of starts walking towards them.
Hey, just so you know, I recognize the fellow over there. It went a little worse there, so they might be a little tentative around me. Just gives you a heads up.
Well, all right then. And he keeps walking.
You guys are walking down the beach, kind of separated, kind of together. Meadow and Severus are holding the hands of this Kappa, kind of just guiding it like a young couple with their child. And one of the beachgoers sees you crossing by and says, "Oh, hello, hold on," and starts running up to you. And says, "Hello, who is that?" And he points at the Kappa.
Who are you?
"Oh, my name is Julian. I live near on the beach. And last night I saw lights in the sky, and I tried to tell people that something strange was going on, but I was still a little drunk, and so they didn't believe me. But this seems like I was right."
What does this child have to do with lights and you being inebriated?
Oh well, I thought I saw this child come out of the ocean last night.
That must have been a really good drink.
Oh well, thank you. I do make some pretty fantastic drinks, but I'm pretty sure I saw you. And he like gets down and like squats in front of the kappa and is kind of looking it over very closely.
Severus will kind of stand in between the kappa and the man. Pardon, sir, you are being a little rude.
I
Tell me more about these lights. What did you see?
Oh, well, last night I was out on the beach. I was drinking, as you do, and I saw these bright blue lights come across the sky. They were and going past, and they were too close to be shooting stars. But I saw one land in the ocean, and I thought I saw this little boy come up out of where that light landed, and so I called the police, let them know, like, oh, hey, something has fallen. Something is strange going on. And they say, oh, no, Julian, you're drunk. It's okay. And I say, no, believe me, there's something happening here. And now here he is. He gestures back over to our small child.
I think Severus is going to squat down by the kappa, and he's going to ask him, is this true? Is this man speaking honestly? Did you remember walking out of the water last night?
Yes, I came out of the water last night. I don't know how I got there. There was this big light, and I was 1 second I was home in my pond, and now I'm here. I don't know what happened.
I promise we'll get this squared away. Don't you worry. And Severus will rise up and he says, well, the story does seem to check out. Did you see any other lights? Perhaps there were others.
So you believe me?
Well, I don't see any reason not to.
Oh, wonderful. And he puts his arm over your shoulder, Severus, and says, oh, I think we're going to be wonderful friends. Yes, I think I saw 3, 4, 5, 3 lights. 3 lights last night. One was down here by the beach, and then there were 2 that were further. He points vaguely like north of him. He's that way, and just kind of points up towards the sky, but kind of northward of where you guys are.
Well, I believe that requires a little investigation, wouldn't you say? And he looks to Meadow, like almost knowingly.
Sure. But what are we gonna do about him? And she points at Julian.
I'm not sure. Julian, is it enough to know that we'll look into this, and if we require your services further, we could find you near the beach here?
Yes. I think that would be perfectly fine. Here's my phone number. Then he takes out a small piece of paper with his phone number written on it for you. Go ahead and call me for anything you need. Maybe we can catch that drink later.
Yeah, maybe the 2 of you could hook up later.
Gives you a cheeky wink.
I think Troy, as they're following, he just kind of, they're watching from distance and goes like, Tate, it's not just me. Are they using that kid to pick up digits?
I think it was Shakespeare who said, don't shit where you eat. It does seem that way, yes.
Troy just kind of rubs his face. Kind of fits what I know. I'm trying to word for that kid. I don't know if that seems kind of fishy. And I'm not sure if that kid went with them willingly. Troy is a little bit suspicious. I'd figure he knows at least enough of servers to know. I kind of figure that, like, when they met, Troy had given into the drive of feeding on joy, and remember, Severus has a carnival?
Yes.
So that's where they met. So he knows he's a carny, And he's naturally suspicious of carnies.
Mm.
I think if you were feeding on joy around Severus's carnival, he would have taken that personally. So I get that there was definitely probably a scuffle in the past. How much Troy may remember of that was probably spotty, because one of Severus's signature moves is to erase memories.
I think that's another reason why Troy is suspicious. He doesn't remember much. He just knows this guy, they fought, and he got his ass kicked.
So you think that this Severus fellow might be trying to make this child an exhibit in his carnival?
Might be. I think we need to get involved. I don't know. I don't remember much of one way of it, but I just know he kicked my ass, and then I woke up somewhere. You kind of see him kind of rub his head. He's right of his head, like he's struggling to remember. It's like, I don't know. We need to get involved. Get the eye on this guy, because
I'm no stranger to finding some of your memories have been lost. I think I'll follow your lead if you're suspicious of this guy, but I'm with you.
Troy, he kind of gives like a nod and a smile, like he appreciates it, since he doesn't have many friends outside of his work. And I figure he probably at least considers Tate a friend, because, Tate's willing to put up with his weirdness. I think he kind of just walks up and kind of clears his throat. Just walks up to Severus and goes, Severus, long way from the carnival.
Severus will turn and see Troy, and behind his shades, his eyes will narrow, and he says, "Well, it seems you finally caught up with me."
You got any plans for that child? He narrows his eyes judgmentally like the cop look.
I plan to get this child home.
Yeah, we're looking for his parents. Who are you?
I think he fumbles in his pocket and he flips out a badge like super quickly and then closes it. Or at least it looks sort of like a badge. Agent Troy Manchester, the library. We have kind of a duty to keep an eye on stuff like this. And I think he does it fast enough, but if anyone actually got a really good look at it, it's literally like a bronze library card.
Oh, that's cute. I like that a lot. So it sounds to me like you're trying to do a manipulate someone.
Yes.
All right. Yeah, go ahead and roll that for us.
All right, that's a 9.
All right. So on a 7 and 9, they mark experience. If they do what you ask, what are you asking?
I think Troy just says, well, if you trying to get him home, I think me and my associate wouldn't have any problem with that. If you don't mind, we'd like to help. Better numbers in case something else going on.
Severus will look down at the Kappa, and then he'll look at Meadow, and then back at Troy, and he says, "Can you control yourself this time?"
Is he an ex of yours?
No.
You see Troy visibly cringe at that? No, we just...
I think Severus cringes as well.
While everyone's cringing, I think the Kappa gets a little bit of a gleam in its eye and lets go of Meadow and Severus's hands and runs over to Seb and pantses him and then starts running away down the beach.
Boxes of briefs. There better be something going under there.
You see Cebe blush.
I think Troy's like, I was done at my best then, and I have my associate here could say that
Damn it, Troy, stop talking, you get the child. And Severus just takes off.
And then Troy just kind of takes off after the child too, running, and he turns and he panics enough that the hat comes off. His squid hair is very...
It's flapping in the breeze behind him.
Yeah.
Cebe is going to take out of his pocket
after he puts his pants back up.
No, Cebe's pants that weren't down. It was Severus, right?
It was Cebe.
Oh, what's he?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Sebe.
Well, then, yeah, he's definitely blushing.
So is Cebe in boxers or briefs? Or Hanes, I guess.
Or were they his bathing clothes?
No, I think Steve wouldn't be wearing, even if he is committing to chilling by the beach, he would just be still be wearing his clothes. He's probably wearing pants, long pants, even though it's hot outside. But yeah, he's boxer. I think he's wearing boxer shorts. He's an old school kind of guy.
Ooh, I'm already picturing like the flowery hearts. Or the hearts.
Yeah, some kind of print.
It says juicy on the butt.
These were on sales at Sears.
Meadow would just nod and smile.
So yeah, he sort of tugs his pants back up and looks angrily up towards the turtle child who's running away, and he's gonna take out a small piece of chalk that's kind of worn down, and he's going to draw a quick rune in the sand and then put his hands under the sand, and he's trying to use some magic.
Yeah, please roll it for me.
Boom, boom, boom. All right, I rolled a 9.
All right, so effect and a glitch, my friend.
So the effect I'm trying to do is trap a specific person, minion, or monster, being the child. And a glitch, let's say short duration.
Okay. Yeah, so I think what happens is the Kappa was able to run far enough. It kind of turned the corner to there were like some cliffs along the edge of this beach, and so it turns the corner around like a large cliff. You are able to catch it. What does that look like for you?
The hands that I plunge into the sand sort of form far away from me, like where the thing is running, and they kind of sort of hand-shaped sand comes up from the beach and grabs him by the ankles.
Wonderful. Yeah, and you trip him over. He's currently laying flat on the beach. I think this is enough time that the rest of you can kind of come around the corner and find the Kappa laying in the sand.
Meadow's skipping.
Wonderful.
I think Severus gets there and then he stops and looks at Troy and he's like, there, now you can take him.
I think Troy just kind of nods and just walks over and picks up the Kappa child. Despite his scrawny build, he doesn't have unholy strength, but his strength is surprising.
Yeah, and the Kappa doesn't struggle at all. When Cebe tripped it, some of the water that was in its head fell over, and so it's kind of paralyzed currently. It's a little bit in a daze.
You be careful. Bad things happen if enough of the water gets out of the top of his head.
You have to keep him wet.
Yes, that's a very good point. I don't believe I got your name, ma'am.
My name's Meadow. What's yours?
Meadow.
No, that's my name. What's yours?
Pardon. My name is Severus Savati. Do you by chance recognize me?
No. Should I? Have we slept together?
Oh, no, nothing like that. I think this may be a conversation we should have at another time. Right now, we need to focus on the mystery that is afoot.
Okay.
Troy just kind of nods like, Miss Meadow, as I mentioned, Agent Troy. You call me Troy.
I know, I saw your library card.
He kind of coughs a little bit at that and just nods sheepishly.
I like your tentacles. And you can see her almost trying to stop herself from reaching out with her hand to run her fingers through your tentacles.
Severus is going to look very uncomfortable and then start walking towards Cebe.
Thank you? He says questioningly and kind of follows Severus's lead.
Cebe hopefully would have caught up by then. He sort of looks around and he says, well, I guess you've all seen me in my my underpants, so you might as well know. My name's Cebe Tate. You can call me Cebe.
Pardon, have you ever spent much time in Gullah, Florida?
Yeah, yeah. I'm surprised you know the name.
I may have passed through there once or twice on my travels. I wonder if you have any connection to Tate's Hell.
Yeah, I guess they do still call it that, huh?
It seems to be nationally recognized, so congratulations, you're famous.
You're famous?
You could say that, I guess.
About as famous as, say, Pikes Peak or, I can't remember another name right off the top of my head, but...
The North Pole?
Or Jack or Jill.
Yes, right. Well, since you're going to be working with us, I believe we should let you know that there is a beach drunkard who was hitting on Miss Meadow. Informed us that he saw some lights last night. Now, one of the lights landed in the ocean, and our Kappa friend informed us that that is where he crawled out of. But there were two lights just north of here that may have also landed down. My working theory is that they might be this lad's parents, but my knowledge of Kappa age cycles isn't what it should be. He could possibly be an adult and just not realize it.
I don't know that Kappa is a creature from the wild. What do you know of this?
Of the Kappa? Can I make another investigative mystery roll?
You absolutely can.
Okay. Okay, here we go.
Ooh,
I got a 12.
killing it.
I think I'm going to ask, what can it do? And I suppose, what can hurt it?
What can it do? Well, you generally know that kappas are mischievous creatures. They have very, very strong claws and a history of drowning others. And they also have a history of trying to make a grab at you to rip out people's intestines.
Ooh.
So generally, it's kind of a hand-to-hand situation with that. And with what can hurt it, forcing it to get into a situation where the water drops out of its head will cause it to briefly become paralyzed, as you've discovered. And also, you remember that for some reason, kappas have an affinity for cucumbers.
I'm going to relay this information on.
Well, it sounds like I got it pretty easy if they're inclined to yank your guts out from under you.
Are you lacking guts?
Well, no, I'm just saying he only pantsed me. He didn't.
Oh, yes. I apologize. I was confused as to what you were referring to.
Sounds like I'm the best person to hold him then, because, some of you know I don't really have much to tear out anymore, so he kind of eyes Severus and Tate knowingly.
Severus is just gonna push his glasses further up, and he's gonna look towards the road maybe and be like, "Well, I don't suppose anyone drove here, did they?"
I've got my motorbike, but we can't all fit on that.
I don't drive.
Really? You don't have a van?
No, I lent that out to some friends.
I think behind you guys, as you guys are starting to talk about your transportation, I think, Troy, you might see out of the corner of your eye, there's a soft blue glow starting on the beach a little ways away from you.
Guys, I think we might not need that much transportation. And he kind of points in the direction of the glow. Something's going on over there.
Yes, I believe that would definitely require our attention. Oh, pardon, I've been so rude this entire time. And Severus is going to kneel down by the kappa and say, I apologize, I never got your name.
Oh. He's coming back out of his daze. He says, my name is Satoshi.
Satoshi. Well, that's a very lovely name.
Oh, thank you. What's your name?
My name is Severus Savati, and this is Troy and Meadow and Cebe Tate.
Oh, nice to meet you. And the Kappa like inclines in like a short, small bow, and a little bit of water like drips and plops out of its head. And I think at that moment, the light that had been gathering and glowing further off suddenly just expands open into a large 8-foot circle in air, then closes back. And in its place, you see a giant turtle that has an incredibly long neck and a very long tail. And it is looking down at you and growling and kind of wondering what is this in its territory.
So it looks nothing like a kappa. It looks like an actual turtle, just big.
Think the Loch Ness monster, but instead of like being just completely smooth and having fins to move around with, it has like a turtle's body, but otherwise like a very long neck and head, very long tail.
It doesn't have the water on its head.
No.
I think Severus is going to bump Troy's arm. Well, go on.
These are your people.
You're both fish, right?
I think that's an assumption.
I'm not. What? I'm a monster, not a turtle. But okay. He sets down the child and he's going to start walking ahead of the party, and you kind of see his right arm, like there's like these energy tentacles coming off of his arm and kind of wrapping around his arm, and he's moving in and he's preparing to kick some ass if he needs to. And you just see kind of like these tentacles kind of forming like a Hulk or made out of tentacles around his right arm.
Oh my.
I think the giant turtleish creature sees you coming towards its territory and snaps out at you with its neck and tries to give you a bite.
All right. I think Troy's going to kick some ass then.
Oh, there we go.
Nice.
All right.
That is a 10.
All right, so is this like an unarmed thing?
Oh, yeah.
It's kind of how I picture his natural attack. It's magical force, but I kind of picture it just represents as like this construct arm made of tentacles.
Wonderful. And so how much harm is that?
That is 2 harm. It's 2 harm, magical, and close.
You do hit this creature. It does not seem phased by it, and it bites down on your magical arm for 2 harm and kind of picks you up by the arm.
Okay.
No, not armor defeating. You said that your it's magical, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Actually, I was wrong. It does do some damage.
Actually, you know what? I think Troy would give +1 forward to another hunter because he's being lifted up, but he's drawn the attention.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, and I think he's like calls back any time now as he's being lifted up.
I got him on the ropes.
Cebe takes out and see him carrying before. It's kind of shocking, but it's a magical katana.
How fitting.
And mechanically, it's just an enchanted dagger, but in our show, it's a katana, so it's just going to do the same harm as a dagger. But it does have the magic tag, which is fun. But I'll look back at Severus and say, I take it you aren't going to be exchanging pleasantries with this one?
I don't believe I can. Let me just, I'm going to need to try to remember if I've seen anything like this. Have you?
Not that I remember, no.
Severus pauses for a minute. You're just a human, right? Correct?
I've lived longer than most humans could.
but you're not a myriad.
I'm not familiar with what you call a myriad.
Oh, okay. Let me try this a different way. What's something that would be really helpful in this situation that you could obtain by magical means? Like it could improve your sword, perhaps?
Yeah, perhaps.
All right. Now, I can do this for you, but I need you to tell me a really big secret. Something you probably haven't told anyone else.
I love the visual of you guys having this conversation while Troy
you're
is
dangling.
just hanging from his arm, like, okay, anytime, Netflix.
He's just flaying around, screaming.
Do you want me to interject at this point with read a bad situation?
Yeah. Go ahead and read a bad situation while Cebe figures out his deep secret.
That sounds good.
I got an 8.
All right, I think that's a hold 1. What do you want to know?
Well, I don't know. What's the most vulnerable to me, or what's the best way to protect the victim? What's most vulnerable to me, I guess? Well, no, that's stupid, because there's only one thing there. What's the best way to protect the victims?
You look over the scene on the beach, and you see just past this creature that there is a soft blue glow going on, and it looks like there's a sea turtle shell washed up on the beach, but it's surrounded by this blue energy. And you think, oh, if I do something with that, maybe that will help what's going on with Troy and these monsters.
Okay, so Meadow will just start skipping off. She'll skip past Troy and the monster and go for the big empty turtle shell.
I think I'm going to have you act under pressure to get past the big boy who's swinging Troy around.
Poor Troy.
It's another 8.
The sad thing is, this isn't even in the top 25 worst things that happen to Troy.
All right, so you can get all the way there, but Troy is going to be flung into the ocean.
I think that sounds safe.
I like how you didn't even get to the other option.
I mean, it's water, right? It gets him away from the thing trying to kill him. I think I can live with that.
Okay.
Oh, no.
Yeah, so I think you get all the way to the turtle shell, and the creature looses Troy from its jaw and just flings him into the ocean. Troy, you're going to take a -1 going forward, just trying to get back on the beach and reestablish what's going on for you, reestablish your bearings.
I feel like it's Troy's being floated. Frody's yelling out, "I'm not a fish!"
Oh no, is he one of those Splatoon characters? Is he going to die?
No, he should be all right. He's just frustrated. People keep on thinking he's a fish. He's not Aquaman.
I didn't say that. I just figured throwing someone into the ocean would be, get him away from what's attacking him, and it won't hurt him like throwing him on the ground would.
Yeah, I definitely implied that he was a fish, which doesn't make sense because kappas are turtles and they are not fish. I'm sure if Nye is listening to this, he's probably throwing a fit. He's a zoologist. He's on my cast.
That's okay. You were doing it to be mean and insulting towards him.
Exactly. Yes.
And when you
Ray-
say things to be mean and insulting, it's perfectly fine.
Ray can't handle when people don't know the difference between an alligator and a crocodile, so, there's that.
I can't wait till we meet Ray Ray's cousin and he's a capybara.
Yeah, so Meadow, you have run up to this sea turtle shell, but the creature has turned its eyes towards you. Cebe, what's going on?
Cebe struggles considering whether or not it's worth giving up a secret, but then he just sort of, I guess I should say in first person, I just sort of sigh and I look back at Severus and I say, I created a prison for a devil I don't know that I'll ever be able to defeat. That's my big secret.
I thank you for sharing that with me. And Severus takes your hand, and this is one of my moves. It's called a negligible price. You can make a magical deal to fulfill a desire for someone else. The price is that they reveal to you a secret. The world then arranges itself to fulfill their desire, fitting the scale of the secret. So how that works out, I'm going to leave up to you, Jason and Ian, however you want it to help in this situation.
Yeah.
Jason, do you have any ideas here?
I was going to ask you, what is the desire that Cebe has in this moment facing down this giant creature?
I think he just wants to hold the creature off until they can figure out what to do. So he was essentially going to leap to try and get between the monster and Troy. So maybe this gives him the ability to do that. Like, I don't know if that grants a +1 forward or something of that nature.
Yeah, I think now that Troy is in the ocean, you have noticed that Meadow is kind of being stared down. So I think that you can act under pressure, maybe, to get in between, and I'll give you a +2.
Okay. Sounds good. Under pressure is cool. +2. Oh, but I did roll a 5.
Ooh, do you want to use a luck point?
How many luck do we have for the one shot?
I think that like 2 luck for a one shot is a pretty fair price.
I have decided to spend a luck point because I really want to protect these new companions of mine.
All right. You spend that luck. You do exactly what you want to do. What does that look like for you?
There's sort of these runes that appear, these tiny runes that appear along the blade of the katana. And I think that they are growing a brighter shade of purple now that I've made this deal. And I sort of just dart across the beach and kind of leap between the path of Meadow and this monster. And I'm going to just take a defensive stance, ready to try and stop this thing from getting any closer.
Wonderful. Yeah, I think you get there right in time as the monster is trying to bite at Meadow, and its jaw gets stopped by the flat end of your sword.
Awesome.
Severus, we haven't checked in with you in a while. What's going on?
I think Severus is kind of just measuring and like sizing up the what's going on. And I think he's going to investigate a mystery.
Yeah, take a good look at what this is.
Yeah, he's not really built for fighting. I got a 7 and 9, so I hold 1.
All right, what's that question?
What happened here? What brought this here?
You kind of saw it like everyone else. You saw the light form, and then suddenly this creature was here. I think you can piece together that like something about this light gathering makes a portal for these creatures to be able to drop in to these areas.
I think he's going to be looking around now. His mindset is that if something is making these portals, then something has to be nearby, or it's got to be obvious in some form or fashion, in some kind of way.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know what I would roll for that, but
I think that you would notice by now a Meadow looking at and kind of starting to pick up this turtle shell that has that soft blue glow about it. And I think that you would be able to piece those things together.
okay.
How big was the turtle shell?
It's the size of a sea turtle shell, which I believe is like a good like 2.5, 3 feet wide by like 3, 4 feet-ish. It's a very large, like old sea turtle shell.
And it's empty.
Yes, it's empty, but it does have that soft blue glow about it. Hey, Troy, you're in the ocean. How's it going? Are you enjoying your swim?
I think he isn't because he's kind of like flopping around.
Mm-hmm.
He's almost buoyant, but he's not like centered, so it's kind of like a ball rolling in the ocean.
Roll an act under pressure with a -1 for me. Ooh, it hurts. You hate to see it. Yeah, I think another wave catches you, Troy, and the ocean is just beating down on you and pushes you back under. So we'll we'll come back around in a second. Check on you, buddy.
Or Troy.
I feel bad. I feel like I'm bullying Troy currently, but it's just the way the game goes. Hey, Meadow,
Yes.
you are here, and Cebe has heroically stopped this thing from biting down on you, and you are holding this turtle shell. What do you want to do?
Is there a way if I can determine if for some reason the giant turtle maybe used to be the little turtle whose shell I'm now holding? I mean, what would I do for that?
I think that would be an investigative mystery.
Okay, that's a 9.
All right, on a 9, you get 1, I believe.
Yeah. I'm just trying to think which question in there would work best with what I was trying to do.
Yeah, I think what sort of creature is it would
Yeah, we'll go for that.
establish that pretty well for you. You look at the sea turtle shell and you look at the very, very large turtle-like creature, and you notice some differences in the way that the shell is designed. The edges of the shell on the large creature are more razored, while the one that you're holding is smooth. So you realize that it's not just like a mutated sea turtle or anything. But then you remember that there are legends in and around Australia about this. This is a moa moa.
The shell is a moa moa or the giant dude is a moa moa?
The giant turtle thing is a moa moa.
What else do I recall that a moa moa is?
Aside from obviously being a large turtle with a long neck and a long tail, they are protective kind of creatures that just don't like things coming into their territory, which you would assume suddenly this is its territory and you're in it.
Okay. I think this guy is a little far away from home and he's just trying to protect what he thinks is his territory. So maybe we should back the fuck up and give him some space. Or I could try and banish him.
We could leave the area, but I don't know that innocent beachgoers will be able to understand that this creature thinks that this is its territory.
Yeah, what about if we get some police tape or something?
It's like putting a Band-Aid on a broken arm, I'm afraid.
Oh. Keeper, do I know, is this technically a natural or unnatural creature?
This is a natural creature.
Well, I can't banish it then. Sorry, guys.
That's unfortunate.
Maybe we could coax him into the water and he could find his way home.
Didn't we determine that they came from lights in the sky?
This one came from a light on the ground.
Meadow, I think that the sea turtle shell that you're holding in your hand is starting to glow again.
Oh dear. Could I fling it into the ocean?
Yeah, you can fling it into the ocean.
I do that.
All right, you do that. It rolls out to sea, out by Troy. Troy, you're swimming around out there, and suddenly you see a glowing with a blue light, a sea turtle shell going past you. What do you want to do?
Troy panicked and goes, I hate this part about Mario Kart. I am going to use the most cartoonish, but I think it makes sense, use magic, do a thing that is beyond human limitations. Because Troy still has the Hulk arm made out of tentacles. So I want to use magic to kind of expand the tentacles out and kind of like use them as a propeller to get to land.
Yeah, go ahead and roll that. All right, you propel yourself to land. And so now you guys are all with the Kappa and the Moa Moa on the beach.
Maybe I shouldn't have done that.
Steve, what do you want to do?
I would like to just continue to do battle with this thing, trying to keep it focused on me so that the others can do what they're trying to do.
Yeah, roll kick some ass for me.
Okie doke. Ooh, I rolled a 7.
On a mixed kick some ass, we do damage to each other.
Mm-hmm. So my weapon is 2 harm, but it is magic.
I think that your sword cuts into the side of this, of the Moa Moa, but the Moa Moa kind of just bowls you over onto the ground and you take 1 harm just from the force of impact. And it has you in kind of a bad situation. It's rearing back to strike at you. Severus.
Severus is going to see the turtle shell getting thrown into the ocean, and he's going to be like, no! And then he's just going to, like, full-on dead sprint to go into the ocean after it.
Wonderful. I think that's an act under pressure.
Yeah, okay. Oh, that's plus cool. I should be fine. Yeah, oh yeah. It's a 12. I am absolutely fine with this.
All right, so what do you want to do?
Depending on how far out she threw it, I just want to run on water until I get over it and just dive. I'm kidding.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think he like just sprints straight to the water and just dives right in and goes after it.
I think on a 12, you can get pretty... We're going to say that this was a pretty immediate reaction to seeing her throw it out. And so you can get to it pretty quickly, and you have hands on the shell now. Let's move back over to Troy and Meadow. What's going on, guys?
I think Troy's going to try to hit it again with the Hulk hand. He's specifically targeting one of the legs to try to knock it off balance.
Wonderful, wonderful. Roll that kick some ass. Okay, so how do you do this?
I feel like he just kind of runs into a sprint and then he winds up the arm and just kind of like backhands into the joint.
Yeah, I think that makes perfect sense. The Moa Moa kind of crumples a little and is distracted for a second, and it tries to take a tail swipe at you, but it just doesn't quite connect. Meadow, what are you doing?
I'm not entirely sure. What's happened to the Kappa during all this?
The Kappa has been kind of just like watching wide-eyed and cowering over in the corner, trying to back up away from the Moa Moa.
I want to try and heal someone. How messed up is Cebe and Troy? I guess Troy's probably too far away. Cebe would be easier to get to. It's only a 1, right, for Cebe? Never mind.
Yeah, Cebe looks okay.
I'll yell out to the Kappa, hey, back up so it can't see you.
And the Kappa is just... Because you don't know what he's saying.
I just do the shooing motion with my hands.
It goes and hides behind some rocks.
Does that have any effect? Or is it just because we're here now that it's fucked off?
Yes, and yes.
Okay. I want to see what the others are doing so I can help out if needed.
Wonderful. Let's move over to Severus. You are in the ocean and you have the turtle shell. What's going on?
I think Severus is going to hold on to it tightly as he tries to swim back to the beach, but he's going to try to get away from the others in the Moa Moa because he wants to investigate this shell specifically with magic, but yeah, I think he definitely wants to be out of harm's way.
Yeah, I think that you're going to have to contend with the ocean for that, so that's going to be an act under pressure, especially since you want to make the distance between the two.
How deeper am I swimming? I mean, under pressure. Never mind. That's a nautical joke.
Funny.
Under pressure.
I'm just gonna roll. Oh, that's awesome. That's a 13.
Nice.
You get exactly where you want to go. You are on the beach, a fair bit away from the Moa Moa and all of our friends. Go ahead and roll your investigate for the shell.
I'm gonna use magic.
Oh, wonderful.
My hope is to observe another time. Oh, that's a failure.
Ooh.
I think I'm gonna use a luck.
All right. Yeah, so on observing another time with you use magic, I think what you see in front of you,
Mm-hmm.
your eyes fill with that familiar like green light that you have.
Mm-hmm.
And you stare at the shell, and then you see the shell flying through the sky. And then you see the shell back in what looks like a warehouse. There are candles lit, and there's chalk written on the ground around it. And you see it being handled by a man in a lab coat, and many like books and papers spread and scattered throughout this room. The shell being placed in this circle on the floor.
Can I read what any of the papers say?
You can catch a glimpse off of one of the papers that the shell was next to. And you see in the top right of the paper, you see an insignia of an owl that's like nestled in thorns, it seems like. And the paper says something about opening pathways and being able to take things from other places and put it where you want them.
Oh, okay. Then I think I'm starting to get an idea of what we should do.
Very cool. Let's move over to Cebe, if that's okay.
What's is Troy currently tussling with this thing? And I've been pushed over.
Yeah. Troy just like prevented you from getting your arm snapped off by this turtle.
Right.
And you are pushed over on the ground.
Gotcha. I would like to wait for it to lunge at Troy again and then try to protect someone.
Yeah. I think now is the time because, Troy, you have the Moa turned and snapping at you, trying to take that arm again.
You know what? I am going to do something crazy. I want to use magic. I feel bad saying this, but I want to summon a monster into the world.
Okay.
Oh my god.
Are we going to have a kaiju fight?
Yeah, that's what...
We're gonna fight Cthulhu's like snotty, like cold cousin named Achulu.
Or his cat. Cat Zulu.
Oh no! I'm gonna do something dorkier because I think Troy is inspired by seeing a glowing blue shell go by him, and he's gonna try to summon a dragon turtle.
Ooh. Yeah, that sounds great.
Keeper is like, yes, I would love to have more monsters to play with.
Oops, all monsters.
Isn't that essentially what we already have?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a 13.
All right, so you summon a dragon turtle?
I'm trying to be copyright friendly. Like, he was literally inspired by a glowing blue shell, so like he summons a humanoid mixture of a dragon and a turtle in front of them to try to give them some room to figure things out more.
Does this dragon turtle have an affinity for capturing pink-dressed princesses?
Yeah.
Oh, wonderful. Yeah, it's Xiaozer is the name of the dragon turtle. I think you summon this dragon turtle-like creature, and it catches the mouth of the Moa in its claw, and then just hits it with a right hook. And we are having a kaiju fight in the background, which is super cool.
I think Severus looks up and sees this, and he's like, "There's always a bigger fish."
Nice.
Thank you. Disney, don't sue.